Hello students, in this class of cost accounting, I will be discussing the chapter Labor Cost Control Part 2, Methods of Remunerating Labor. In the previous class, I have already discussed about the incentive plans of Halsey and Rowan. In this class, I will be discussing other incentive plans uh, like Immersion Efficiency Plan, Taylor Plan. In this class, I will be discussing about the plans of Immersion Efficiency Plan, Gantt Task and Bonus Scheme, Collective Bonus Scheme, Profit Sharing Scheme, Labor Co-Partnership Scheme. Now, what is Taylor's differential piece rate system? Under this system, two piece rates are fixed. One low rate for those whose production is below the standard, and another high rate for those whose production is above the standard. The difference between these two rates is so wide as to provide a very keen incentive to produce above the standard. The main advantage of these systems are that it provides a strong incentive to the efficient worker and is simple to understand and operate. But there is disadvantage also because the incentive level may be set so high that it cannot attract most workers. Now, in this, I can explain you with an example that suppose the standard production at the rate of 20 units per hour, general wage rate is rupees 20 per hour, and wage rate if executed below standard is 80% of general rate, and wage rate on execution of work equal to standard 120% of general rate, production in 8 hours of one day by Mr. A 150 units, and by Mr. B 200 units. Now you have to compute that what remuneration will be payable to Mr. A and B under the Taylor plan. Now we will be calculating wages for 160 units in 8 hours is 160. As such, wage rate comes to 160 divided by 160. It amounts to rupee 1 per unit. A's wages will be 150 units into 1, but they are actually below the standard, so they will be paid 80% of 80% of their total wages, that is 150. 80% is 120. And B's wages will be, he has produced 200 units, that is above the standard, so he will be paid above standard, that is 200 units into 1 amounts to 120, 200, and 200, then we will be calculating the 120% of 200, that amounts to 240, so he will be paid 1.20 per unit. So this is how we calculate wages under Taylor's differential piece rate system. Now we come to another fourth one, that is Immersion Efficiency Plan. This plan has been designed to encourage to the unskilled or inefficient workers to perform better than earlier. Under the plan, a minimum daily wage is guaranteed and a standard time is determined for each job, process or operation. During each period, a record is kept of the hours worked and the units produced, and the efficiency of each employee is then determined by dividing actual hours into the standard time for the units produced. A bonus is paid to a worker whose efficiency exceeds 66 by 3%, like this. Like if the efficiency of the worker is below 66 by 3%, then no bonus is paid to the employee, only time wages are paid. But if the efficiency of the worker is 66 by 3% to 100%, then the bonus increases in steps and rises to 20% at 100% efficiency. Then if the efficiency is over 100%, then in that case 20% bonus plus 1% bonus for each increase of 1% in efficiency. Now I can explain you with an example that if standard time is 8 hours and standard production is 100 units and time rate is rupees 20 per hour, and if actual output units are 60, then in that case only time wages will be paid. Because his efficiency is below 66.2 by 3%, then he will be paid according to time wages, and time wages are rupees 20 per hour, and he has worked for 8 hours, so 8 into 20 amounts to 160. So wages per hour unit will be 2.67. Now suppose if he has produced, if he has actual output is 100 units, that is standard production is 100 units, then he will be paid time wages as well as a bonus of 20% will also be paid to that employee. So in this way we will be calculating, that is for 100 the daily wages will be 160 and then bonus of 20, that is 32. Uh, so total wages will be amounted to 160 plus 32, that is 192 rupees. So this was Emergence efficiency plan. Now we come to another plan, that is Gantt task and bonus scheme. This scheme is a combination of guaranteed time rate and differential piece rate system. Under this plan, high standard is fixed, and if it is not achieved, wages are paid according to the time rate system. If the standard is achieved, a bonus of 20% of the time rate is paid. However, if the standard is crossed, the payment of wages is done at a high piece rate. Now we come to another plan, that is Merrick differential or multiple piece rate plan. This plan is a modified plan of Taylor's. Taylor's prescribed only 2 rates, whereas Merrick laid down 3 rates as follows. If the efficiency is up to 83%, then ordinary piece rate is paid to the labor. If the efficiency is from 83% to 100%, 110% of ordinary piece rate is paid to the labor. And if the efficiency is above 100%, 120% of ordinary piece rate is paid to the labor. Like Taylor's plan, this method also does not guarantee for any minimum wages. Then we come to another plan, that is Beddock's plan. Under this plan, standard time of each job, process or operation is fixed in minutes known as Beddock's points. 1 Beddock's points represents the amount of work which an average worker can do under ordinary conditions in 1 minute. Under this plan's bonus and earnings are calculated like number of Beddock's points saved into hourly rate upon 60 into 75 upon 100. Then we come to another plan, collective bonus scheme. In this, there are certain jobs, process or operation which are required to be done collectively by a group of workers. As such, it is not necessary to use bonus scheme for collective efficiency of a group as a whole. Thus, under such plans, the total bonus is determined among the members of the group on an equitable basis, like Priestman plan, Rucker plan, Skellen plan and Towney plan. Then profit sharing scheme. Under the profit sharing schemes, the workers are paid in addition to wages a predetermined share of profits of the organizations. In our country, workers' share is governed by the Payment of Bonus Act 1965. However, it is difficult to determine the share of profit to be given to each worker, and there may be certain amount of distrust about declared profit also. Similarly, the workers share in the good years but do not bear their shares of loss incurred in other years. So, a share in the profit is paid to the workers at long interval. Then we come to the last scheme, that is labor co-partnership scheme. Co-partnership or co-ownership is a scheme in which employees are given an opportunity to share in the capital of the business and to receive that part of the profits that accrue to the share of ownership. It is a scheme which may be arranged in coordination with the profit sharing scheme, in which the bonus to workers is to be left as an investment in the company. Thus, the scheme creates interest among employees in the undertaking, and in turn, labor relationships are improved, reducing labor turnover. So, thank you. That's all for today.